call the meeting to order.
Jenkins?
Here.
Martin?
Here.
Vaughn? Testori?
Here.
Kelly?
Here.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have at least one public comment that will be speaking to something that we will be discussing this evening in the city manager's report. So with that, I'm going to move the public comments to the beginning, and we're going to start in the order in which I received them. So Rick and Lance, you have the floor this time.
Okay. Basically, Lance and I are here on behalf of the Fair Board and Raceway. We want to thank you for your donation towards the fireworks. We had a fantastic turnout this year, way above years past. People have been extremely generous in their donations as well. And it looks like we're going to try to take that and add to the fireworks show for next year, so it's even bigger. Lance can give you some of the details.
Again, I just wanted to say thank you. This is the first year that the fireworks have been fully funded, aside from us footing most of the bill. Year 2000, along with Canis Furniture donated, Built Sport Cover donated, Midwest Agro Insurance, there's two other private donors, and then again we had about 20 or 1,300 people through the gate before the free gate at 8:30, and then there was at least another 500 after that, and there was about $1,700 that those guys free will donated. So that was, I think last year was a good show. The people knew it, and we had perfect weather. That always helps, as with anything you do. When you have perfect weather, it helps you hit the home runs. So just wanted to let everybody know that it was a good night. And again, I don't know if any of you guys attended, but by all means, we invite you to come up. We hope this week with Summer Nationals we should double. We had, the car count was about 89, and this week that put us at about 2,000, a little over 2,000 people up there last week. So hopefully this week we double that. If weather holds, should be good for the community. So.
Very good.
Thank you.
The next public comment, Mary, you have the floor.
I don't know if you want me to address the council now, or if you would like Larry to go ahead and explain everything, and then we can review the points. I really don't have, this looks great. My concerns are the location.
Okay.
Last city council meeting, Mr. Testori asked if it was going to be on highland. It is not. So, and it is next to that retention basin, which on the original map, the city had it laid out, it is to be there. There's no question about that. The only thing is with that retention basin back there, with the way it is now, that almost has to be, in my opinion, or in my concerns because of health issues for the children, should be cleaned up before we address the park issue. Because of the fact that with the ticks and the mosquitoes down there with all that standing water is a concern. It's a health concern. My other question was regarding that, where it's going to go. This here sidewalk is going to come in on an easement, and I'm questioning if it was a utility easement or if it's just a regular easement. Because if it's a utility easement, I don't know that we could put that much sidewalk over the top of the utility easement. Because this is going to come behind the doctor's office, and he has a big transformer there. So, which, you know, I don't know how far we need a sidewalk away from a big utility for like a transformer. And with it being a commercial piece of property, I'm sure it's a little bit more voltage than a home. Just looking at everything, the pros and cons of it, I was reviewing the map, and I don't know where the property lines end and start for sure by the map, but I was wondering why, if we can't come up with using the existing property, I feel that there's going to be additional costs with that, because we're going to have to bring that land up to grade it. It's going to be a lot of fill cost. And then Also, like the sidewalk, you're talking about possibly 200 feet of sidewalk, opposed to like if we could take and move it like in front of the doctor, like on the side of the doctor's office before you come into the subdivision. You're talking about no fill or minimal fill, and then only maybe 30 feet of sidewalk.
Are you aware of these issues?
I am now.
This is the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah, no, and this was after Larry was nice enough to come to my home. We had a little meeting with Mrs. Wilson and the playground manager. And after we started looking at things, you know, we took a field trip. We took a field trip, which was great, because then you can visualize better than this. And then that's where the concerns came in with the other stuff.
Okay, do we have another spot we can put it?
Well, how about let her express her concerns, and then when I go over this, just keep in mind what her concerns are, and we can hit on those again. Okay?
That's kind of what, when I got up, I thought maybe we might want to coincide. And if you have any other further questions or, once again, we appreciate everything you're doing for us out there, and this is going to be awesome. And I think more people in the community might use it a little bit more if it wasn't behind the doctor's office. I also feel like it could be monitored better if it wasn't back, because you can't really see this from the street. It would be tucked back down, where like the police would have to go through the doctor's parking lot to patrol also. Thank you.
And the next public comment is Ms. Susan, you have the floor. Yeah, Mrs. Wilson, yes ma'am.
I'm getting hard of hearing in my old age. So I've been thinking a little bit about some of the challenges that the community's been facing. And I was working with the playground committee. And as I'm sitting there thinking about a lot of these things, I'm noticing that these people that live out in the new subdivision, almost all of them, or a lot of them at least that were on that committee, they live 20 miles away, or they work 20 miles away from here. But when they're here, they're very civic-minded, very much involved in the community, and very volunteer-oriented. And so I got to thinking about that, and some of the things that we're facing in terms of, we've got economic challenges, we've got, you know, potential closure of the power plant, and all that that brings. And maybe it's time for us to start thinking, and maybe you are, and I'm just unaware, and I apologize if that's the case. But maybe just start thinking about doing some kind of a strategic planning process for the community, involving some kind of an outside marketing group even to come in and facilitate it, to give us an idea of maybe what are the things. Let's say we want to market ourselves as a bedroom community to Bloomington, Champaign, Decatur. I'm pointing in the wrong directions, I realize. Champaign, Bloomington, Decatur. If we want to market ourselves as a bedroom community and attract young families, not really for the purpose of growth, but really for the purpose of being a viable community for the long term, and maintaining all the things that we really love about living in a small town. So then we can start maybe by developing a strategic plan, really coming up with a to-do list, a prioritized to-do list. What are the things that we need to do that make ourselves look more attractive to the kinds of families we'd like to bring in? And I mean, we already have, in my opinion, a really good start. And I know this has happened at the community meetings and whatnot, but I started just listing out what are the things that we already have in our community that are really strong, that would appeal, I think, and already have appealed to a lot of young families. We do have affordable housing. Our house prices are lower than they are in those surrounding communities. We have land to build on. We have great schools, of course I would say that. We have excellent youth sports, 4-H, scouting programs, lots of Eagle Scouts here in our community. Our churches are vibrant and caring. We have beautiful and really interesting parks. When you think about it, a lot of places don't even have like a skate park, a BMX track. Fabulous campground, which I recently walked through and really enjoyed. We have outdoor recreation. We're near the lake, obviously. We have the camping. We have the racetrack. 2 pools in our town, one public, one private, a golf course. You can purchase anything you need right here in this town. You don't have to go to Champaign-Urbana. And as I've said, if I can't buy it here in town, I can't get out of town, I can usually go onto Amazon and have it delivered to my door. Not that that doesn't happen all the time. We have a lower sales tax here, less traffic. You can run your errands in 20 or 30 minutes. A lot of active service organizations. We have the Legion, the VFW, Kiwanis, Masons, Outreach Ministry, Key Club, and we even have quite a few medical services. Besides the pharmacy, we have a physician, a dentist, a chiropractor, and a nursing home. And frankly, the list goes on and on when you really start thinking about it. So basically, I just think it might be time for us to really engage in a true strategic planning process, have it facilitated maybe by an outside group, and create a prioritized to-do list and just start ticking it off with the express purpose of attracting families so we can maintain our, the way of life that we enjoy here. So, thank you.
Thank you. Very good. With that, we move on to section 1, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Colin?
Jenkins?
Yes.
Harden?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Testori?
Yes.
Motion carries.
There being no unfinished business, we move on to section 3, new business.
Make a motion that we accept resolution 2016-22, awarding bid to Hoare Construction Incorporated of Peoria for the Route 54 water main construction.
I second it.
Discussion.
Gentlemen, so you know, there were 20 different bidders that saw some input on this. Out of that, we actually received 4 sealed bids, and they came in with a wide range of bids, to be a matter of fact. One came in from the city of Girard, Illinois, that was at $197,000, to where you see Hair Construction out of Peoria came in at $87,694. That $87,694 is a very good price. IDOT has allowed us to change, which all bidders knew. We don't have to put casing under Illinois Route 54. We're going to do a directional bore there. That'll save a substantial amount of money. So that $87,694 is for 1,147 feet of 6-inch water main that starts at George Rock and Illinois Route 54, goes straight south across the highway. There'll be a fire hydrant set there and a T so we can extend the water services farther west, should that ever be needed. We'll put a service tap there for the chiropractor in case his well was to ever quit. And then we're going to go back to the east and hook in somewhere around the area of Dick Maxwell's, to be quite simple about it. So this is really a very good price. Came in under the estimate from the Farnsworth Group. So.
Any questions?
Yeah, if you know anything about the contractor?
They've done a lot of work for us before, Mac, on our lift stations. They're very respected out of Peoria.
So what's the time frame?
After, if it's accepted, obviously they'd have to order materials, but they'd come in and do it in a hurry, so.
Any other questions? Discussion?
This solves the water problem.
This is part of the water problem, so this should, yes.
Go ahead and do roll call.
Harden?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Testori?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
With that, we moved on to a presentation by the Heritage Days Committee, and Mary Kimball will be speaking. Yes, ma'am.
No, everyone can come up. I'm basically going to read to you what I gave you. Heritage Days was better than we ever imagined it would be. It gave Garden City a lot of good press. We had people contacting us for interviews and asking us for advice after the event. We estimated over the 3-day period that we had over 5,000 visitors to the downtown area. We estimated 3,000 people attended the Sammy Kershaw concert. We had people from Charleston, Rockford, and even a couple came from Iowa to see Sammy. Thursday was more of a community night with a great community turnout. The beer garden went on great, and the only trouble was the bartenders had a hard time keeping up. The carnival did a little bit better than last year. The car show was not so well, but I think that had a lot to do with the weather. The kids' games were well attended and everyone had fun. We made mistakes, and not all of them was ours, but we will have to work better on communications with the department heads. I think we need more support from the city and felt like at times some were hoping we would fail. We are excited and had a meeting already planning Heritage Days 2017. More volunteers are needed than just the 5 of us. We were ran ragged and 2 members took vacations that week to make sure all details were taken care of. This is the first year we actually brought in money, and as soon as we get all the bills in, we'll give you a sheet with all the expenses. And I gave that to Mike, but we still have some more expenses going out. We appreciate all the help from the streets, washer, and street, water, and electric departments in helping us get us set up and tore down. We'd like a monetary commitment from you for $10,000 for next year so we can start planning and raising money to make Heritage Days 2017 better than 2016. Many businesses profited from the event. Casey's and Huck's had as much business as a holiday weekend. The Days Inn was full, the Farmers City Market and the bars both made money. And then on yours, I attached a couple comments from a business person and other people that, talked about it. Erin would like to have some comments too.
Yeah. I guess I just want to touch on a few of the things that we had issues with throughout the event. I would like to say just first and foremost that we as a committee held up to our end of the bargain. We did exactly what we said we were going to do. There was well over 1,500 to 2,000. That's what we predicted to everyone here pre the event, that was what we had been told, and I think we had a great event. I mean, and there were many people in town, and a lot of older people, 70 and above, that have lived here their whole lives, that have said they've never seen anything like that in downtown. So, and that's, even back in the days of the drawing and, when you're going back into the olden days of Farmer City, I mean, it was hopping down here at one point in time. And so, I think that for as few people as were involved in it, I think we did a great job. I think we had some issues with the police. We called, and I know that it was brought up at the last council meeting about the money that was spent on the policing or whatever, and the people had issues with that. But I would just like to say that we did have in line with the county for them to come both Friday and Saturday night. We called to confirm that on Thursday, and we were told that they had been called and told not to come on Friday night. So they had 2 officers scheduled to come, and then they were told by Larry not to come, as that's what we were told by the person in charge that was filling in for the sheriff at the time because he was in FBI training, which, to me, they weren't charging us anything. They were there to help us. So I felt like we should have at least been warned about it or known that they were being called off, because we had set that up ourselves to make sure that everything was okay and that we had enough people. We also had some council members' spouses specifically that were being pretty negative on social media towards us leading up to the event, which was, in no way, shape, or form helpful. I mean, it didn't, it wasn't, nothing was going to come of it, and it was just, I just thought it was very distasteful, and we all did. We didn't feel like we were being supported when, it was already happening. The streets were closed, the carnival was here, and, social media, it was nasty comments, it was just ridiculous. So, that wasn't very, we didn't appreciate that, and just not needed. And I'm disappointed that this council didn't ask any more questions when our chief of police stood here last week and said no comment to an issue that was serious. And like our carnival that we, put a lot of time into, they were disrespected and they weren't treated the way that they should have been treated. And, you know, in a situation like that, when brake fluid is poured into your vehicle, you know, it should have been treated a little bit more seriously. And I just felt like it was kind of a slap in the face that nobody even asked questions about, like, well, he's a public official. He's a voted, you know, he should be answering your questions. There should be more than just no comment, and that should just be acceptable, because to me, it just wasn't acceptable. And I don't think that anybody in our committee, just because of all we had to deal with that situation, you know, we took the brunt of that because we were the easiest ones for them to, you know, and they were very upset, as they should have been. But, you know, I feel like there was, and another thing was the no parking situation. I don't know how the amount for the no parking tickets came about, but 30 minutes prior to our beer garden opening on Friday, I witnessed 2 of our officers already writing no parking tickets in an area that was not marked no parking. I mean, they put paper signs out a week before. It wasn't well executed. And then come to find out that the no parking tickets were $150. Like, I'm not sure how that price point came about or who came up with it, but to me that was just a total sabotage. And to the rest of the committee, I think, we just thought, how could you set a price point like that for people that aren't from here, had no idea where to park, and kids were just walking by and ripping the signs off. You know, it was that easy to take the signs down. And, you know, I got yelled at by one of our officers because I came up trying to prevent, I knew our tenant of our apartment her car was outside, and I knew that she was, you know, available. And I said, can I please go get her? I just, you know, I don't want her to get a ticket. And he got very upset with me that I was, you know, interfering or whatever. But there was no visible signs, and there was another ticket issued at that same time, which happened to be the carnival owner's sister. So that was another dilemma and issue we had to deal with. You know, the first big day of our event, when we had the beer garden and everything happening, and it was just, I think we all kind of felt a little bit of sabotage as far as, like, with the police, and just what was the purpose of all of that. You know, because I think we had a great event. I don't think that there was any chaos that came of it. I don't think that anything was damaged. You know, there were businesses that definitely profited from it. You know, I know Jay Kemplin had a great, you know, business, because we had people from Sammy Kershaw's band that had bought stuff from him that were coming in and messing with it and fixing it. And, you know, there were several. We were also, someone took it upon themselves to try to call anonymously into the Attorney General to say that we weren't disability compliant leading up to this event. Well, they were trying to set up, you know, wires were exposed, but it was all going to be taken care of, and we had to alter the pharmacy parking a little bit because we had to pull the porta potties out, and we didn't realize that. And we weren't, you know, I mean, this is all new to us. We were not trying to sabotage anybody or trying to do anything to hurt her parking or her business or anything like that. We had no idea, but because someone called and tried to turn us in, they weren't trying to come over here and, like, hit us with a fine. They just said, you know, this is what needs to happen, and if you just check all these things, make sure that you're good to go. And, like, so we did that. And I mean, it was just one thing after another. We're all trying to, you know, there's very few of us that put this on, and it was just one blow after another. Every time we would, you know, get a leg up, something else would knock us back. So I just really hope that if we can do this next year, and I hope that everyone here sees the benefit of what this did for our town. I mean, it put us on the map. People were talking about us. I mean, we had other towns reach out to us. Ranch Tool reached out to us to ask, you know, who did that? Who was your promoter? Like, I mean, we had people, the News Gazette contacted us to talk about small town festivities. I mean, it was good promotion for Farmer City, which we have not gotten very much of lately. So, you know, it was positive, and I think we did a lot of positive things. So I hope that you all feel that way too, and you see the positivity in this event. But if you have any questions for us, we would love to
Does
answer
the
them.
council have any questions?
I just have a comment. I think you girls did a good job.
Thank you.
There's always hiccups.
Yeah.
Randy, did it work out well for you?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Chucky and I worked out great.
good. Good. And
And I donated some money back to get everybody.
Yeah, Randy
Help
did.
jump start for next year.
Okay. I want it to be a success, so.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? You stated that you would like a commitment of $10,000 for next year. Is there a time frame you're looking for this commitment?
Well, probably as soon as possible. We really have to start booking our entertainment for next year. And we kind of know who we want. We would like to have a national name band Friday and Saturday. So our budget will probably be a little bit higher, but we'll work a little bit harder to raise money. But your 10,000 will help.
So the sooner you get a commitment, the better
Yeah.
off you are.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And just to throw one more thing out there, the $10,000 that you guys gave us, you know, is very, very helpful. And I just want everybody to know that, like, we raised far more than that. So, like, you know, that $10,000 is, but, you know, ultimately this is a city event, and we are bringing this to downtown, and, you know, this is the city's event. I mean, it's not like me and Mary are renting Main Street to have Heritage Days. Like, this is a city event that we are just helping to coordinate and to make sure that it goes off without a hitch. And, like, we did a lot. I mean, us 5 girls did a ton of stuff. And it was, I mean, I promise you that it was no easy feat making that all happen. But I hope that everybody, you know, enjoyed themselves. And it seemed like we got nothing but positive, I mean, for days afterwards. It was really, like, it was awesome. I mean, just hear all the positive comments from people that I don't ever even talk to in town. I mean, they just were really, really nice. And people seem to really enjoy it, so.
Well, it very much appreciated, so. All right. Thank you all very much for the work that you've done. So we need to bring that to, we've got to bring it to discussion before I make a comment.
Are we ready for the next step?
Yes.
I make a motion to go into executive session, to discuss personnel, employment, compensation, discipline, and/or performance of specific employees pursuant to this section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act.
I'll second it.
Discussion, and I spoke to each one of you individually, realizing that our lawyer would not be here this evening. I'm recommending that before we go into this executive session, and we will be talking about an individual in the police department, that our lawyer is here. So I'm recommending that we vote this down, and it will be on next council meeting's agenda. Roll call.
Kelly,
Yes.
Desiree,
Yes. I'm sorry, are we voting this up or down?
I'm recommending, well, you can vote whichever you want. I'm recommending that you vote down.
Is it yes up or is it yes
A
down?
yes means you're going into executive session, and no means that you are not going into executive session. He said yes. Yours?
Yes.
Jenkins,
No.
Harden,
No.
motion passed.
That moves us to other items, the city manager's report.
Well, gentlemen, first of all, I want to start off with this West Side Playground. And as Mary spoke there just a little bit earlier, and you know that this has been discussed many a times, that the folks out there should have a playground, they deserve a playground. And I provided the map because there was some concern about where this playground was to go. I'll turn this around so the public can see it. Back in 1998, when the TIF was being formulated, there was a specific area where the playground was to go. I think that over the years there was some misconception that the playground was to be out. I've even heard out where the doctor's office was. TIF maps disprove that. That is all zone commercial. Out where maybe they would like to have it, that is zone commercial as well. That is not our land. That land is owned by Mr. Drake. If you want to move the playground, if you don't think that the playground should be where it is set to be, then we would have to negotiate and try to buy that land from him. Currently, we're having trouble buying the 39 acres that we've been talking about now for Heritage July, several months. So I don't know how hard it would be to get that accomplished. But there's no rush here. We don't have to rush into this. It's been this long, but we did have a committee meeting out there, community meeting, block party, whatever you'd like to call it, the 23rd of last month. Several of us got together. The gal from Game Time came out. We walked back into this area that is set aside for the park. There's ample room there for this park. This is a design that was created, and if you flip up some of your paperwork, you'll see this since I've turned it away from you. This was designed by the people out there at the Prairie Ridge subdivision. So it is their concept. The sidewalk would be an add-on. And when we talk about how we're going to get back there with the sidewalk, the concept was to bring it back through the easement. It would be a winding sidewalk similar to what you see there. We would plant some trees. There would be some trees eventually planted in this set-aside area for the park. The question was brought up, or the statement was brought up about being a low area. It is a lower area than, because everything's been changed out there. It is lower than the doctor's office. It's lower than neighboring yards. I do think that, obviously we've talked umpteen times about the detention basin. We know we're going to fix the detention basin. So you can wait until the detention basin's fixed, or we can get this ball rolling. That ball's in your court. Nothing's being done tonight. This presentation's being made, so you guys kind of got a heads up. You got 2 weeks to kind of think about doing this, because we also have to get permission from the city attorney whether we could enter into an agreement with this company without letting it out for bid. Price came in at $48,000, however many dollars. It's right there in front of you, gentlemen, the exact dollar amount. So it's actually a pretty good price. That does not include the sidewalk. So keep that in mind. Sidewalk would be an add-on, but it does include a representative of the company to come out and help install, oversee. I've reached out to Monsanto to see if they could provide some labor. The city would have to go out there, level up this area, have it prepped. After that, and I did ask Monsanto about some benches because it shows a bench or two in the depiction of the park. So I've already asked Monsanto for a donation of some benches. We would eventually run some lighting out there. There is power that's relatively close. We would run water over there, so there would be a drinking hydrant as well. So we want to do it right. We want everybody to be happy with this neighborhood park. It's going to be a city park, so others will be out there as well. There won't be parking close to it. You'll have to get back there through a sidewalk. So that's where we're at with it. Do you have any questions about? Now there again, the area is west of the doctor's office. There's a set-aside area between the doctor's office and the actual detention basin, the tall stuff that you see. I told you, I believe, 2 weeks ago at a council meeting that we've been doing some mowing out there, and if you drove along 54, you could look back up, and I think Scott, maybe you'd said that you had seen it. And we've been trying to get that area somewhat groomed, so we've mowed it 3 or 4 times now, trying to see what it's going to look like. There is at least one sump pump that gets pumped in there, which adds to this area being a little bit maybe wetter than what it should be. I don't know that where this is scheduled to go, that particular area is wet. Farther on down, and this is a large area, gentlemen, farther on down south of where this would go, there is utilities in there. All 3 utilities are in there. And there is a wet area there. But there again, correcting the detention basin come cold weather should take care of that problem as well. So we're not trying to put this in a swamp. We're not going to spend $50,000 plus to build a park so it sits in a wet area. And I would hope that everybody would realize that. So we want to make it nice.
Any questions?
What's the plan for the basin to get it cleaned up?
Cold weather. Got to be froze. We're going to get in there and get it cleaned out. We have a plan that was developed from Farnsworth Group. There'll be a concrete channel from the inlet to the outlet that goes across there. So as the water comes in, as the rainwater comes in, the majority of it should stay on the channel. During heavy rain, then the excess water will go over the channel into the field tile inside that basin.
How big is that channel?
How big will the channel be? I can't tell you. Shy of maybe getting back into her emails. So, but there's no fall there. It practically runs flat. That's why it stays wet.
Well, I guess my question was, could some of that dirt be used to build this area up?
It probably could be. We can get dirt if that's the issue. You know, there's times we can't give it away. So,
Is that what the committee is saying, that they're not, you guys don't want it where it's, we've got a plan to go? Is that what I'm?
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that the map is where it was. Our biggest concern is until we get that water basin repaired, or, I don't know, fixed or whatever.
Dried up.
Yeah.
Correct,
Until we
one
get-
thing at a time.
Yeah, until we get this addressed, because I don't, honestly, if you go out and look at the piece of property, if we would go ahead and put this, and we don't want to postpone the playground, but if this is where it's going, I think we need to take steps to make sure that we have that straightened around before we put a playground in there and spend all this money, and then find out that we're going to have issues. I don't know how you would enter or exit off there to go back with the heavy equipment to get to that basin to repair if we already had a playground in there.
you would come in from over where our lift station is, there to the west. And we're doing this, I guess, to put this in how this came about is, if you remember correct, that there were some that came to the council meeting and wanted to know when they were going to get their park. And so that's why we've moved forward with it. We can take a step back, but we don't want anybody to believe that we're not going to do it. So, you know, we can put this on hold.
I don't know why we need, do we want it on hold? We just want to make sure when we build it that it's dry.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, there's issues out there too for safety factors, because if you go out there, and Larry's been out there and you look at it, I mean, there's one huge spot of cattails out there and weeds out there. And kids in playgrounds tend to wander. And we're looking at the safety factor. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And I think, I was at that one council meeting, and I think, prioritized how we wanted things done. And I think one of the top ones was more into the retention pond area, followed by a park in there. And I agree with the fact that you can use some of that, you can dress out that whole area and make it look good. And you can also start filling for the park at the same time that you're dressing and getting rid of the water problem out there.
I don't really know what to say, because I have not been out there and seen where you've mowed. I think you're asking a question that we're not really, tonight, able.
Well, we're not making a decision tonight. It'll come before us in 2 weeks.
Correct.
So we have a chance to at least get out there and ask further questions.
The cold weather is the least expensive way to fix that retention pond. Because I've got the feeling if we wanted to build a 7-Eleven there, they'd be building on that thing next week.
On that detention basin?
Yes.
I don't think you can get a 7-Eleven there.
Well, I'm just saying, a commercial builder wouldn't be waiting for it to dry up. They'd be doing it some other way. I don't know if we can cut the cattails, if we can chemically treat them.
Well, as you know, the detention basin is a separate thing from this, even though they're tied.
Right.
We've tried to mow it a couple times.
I understand.
And gotten the tractor stuck there twice.
Yes.
So
tractor may not be the way to do it.
well, I don't know how else to do it. You can't burn them off, they're green. So I don't know. But, I mean, like I said, the This is not something that you have to rush through. I'm not here to shove it down anybody's throat. I thought that this is what everybody wanted. I didn't realize that, we hadn't.
Yeah, that's not the problem. The problem is we want you to have your parking.
We appreciate that, we understand it, but after looking at it and where it's going, there is some concerns.
And there was a misconception, I don't know how it ever started, it was before my time, it was well before your guys' time, what I heard when I went out there one night, that night, is from some of those folks, is that, well, this is not where it's supposed to go, and I'm like, yes, it is. Now it's supposed to go over there. And so some of them bought their houses thinking that it was going to go in the area of the doctor's office, and that was never the plan. The original plan, which I provided a copy, and Mary has it there in her hand. Yeah, and it shows. Yeah, it shows. And I gave them a copy to end that part of it, so there wasn't a, yeah, right, kind of a thing. Here's what it shows, so. But we don't have any, we don't own any land out there, guys, to put a park somewhere else. So, put it somewhere else, you'd have to negotiate. And that's all commercial, and I just don't think that's going to fly. But, so, there again, we're not doing anything tonight. It was to let you know about it, and we can go from there. And maybe I can reach back out, we can have some more conversations before then too, so, okay? So, that's that part of it.
Chemical treatment's not an option.
Not,
Not about killing trees and flowers and yards and no way. Not there.
You have other items on your...
Yes, sir. Actually, I do. The street and water guys went out. They hooked up the 6-inch water main between Honeysuckle and Bluebell. They got that done. They accomplished that last week. They should be able to hopefully get a sample tomorrow, get that run down to Springfield. Then we have to get the operating permit signed off on. That part of that project will be done. That'll just be one more thing off the list that we've been kind of tackling out there. Light plant guys are working out at the BAM house. I took a photo of it today and did a posting. If you see that the ramp going up to it has now been worked on, so hopefully we can get that thing done pretty quick. Soccer season, we missed out on baseball, but soccer season's coming up. So, and there again, a lot of that work's being donated. We're trying to get a DNR permit for the primitive campsite out there, so we can get a pavilion put up. Unfortunately, you can't build anything out there without a DNR permit, so we're trying to do that the right way. And you see that we lost an employee out of the light plant. John Tolan has resigned. He's going to go back home and sought employment there. So we've got applications floating out there now trying to get a replacement. So that's what we've got, folks.
Any questions?
Since this is an employee, we can't discuss that right now.
Post question.
I make a motion to adjourn.
No. We still got...
I didn't know what you're waiting on.
I didn't know if you were making... Was that just a statement?
No, I've got something to say about this, but I can't say it, so.
Okay. Is there any questions to the city manager's report? Any non-agenda items or other business? I have one. On the next city council meeting, I would like to place in the executive session discussing personnel again. So I need that on the next meeting. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Go ahead and do a roll call.
Testori?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Motion carried.